Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. I scored 30 out of 30 in TOEFL Writing. In this lesson, I will show you 6 complex sentences so you can improve your TOEFL writing score. Let's get started. In all the TOEFL writing tasks, your score will be higher if you use different types of sentences. It's okay to use some simple sentences that have one clause with a subject, verb, and object. Using complex sentences, though, shows the TOEFL examiners that you have great grammar skills. However, you also need to pay attention to the punctuation. Here's 6 complex sentence patterns to get a higher score. Number 1 is join 2 clauses. This is a simple way to make a sentence longer. Take 2 ideas and join them using a word like and, or, but, or so. Let's look at how it works using these sentences. One of the main causes of pollution is car exhaust. Most people want to drive cars. You can join the 2 sentences like this. One of the main causes of pollution is car exhaust, but most people want to drive cars. Here's the important point, guys. See that there is a comma before the but. Always put a comma after the first clause if you join 2 ideas in this way. Compare this with my next tip. The next tip is to remove subjects that are the same. This tip makes a more complex sentence because you don't just join 2 ideas. Here is a pair of sentences for an example. Many people want to stop global warming. Many people take public transportation. You can join sentences like you do in tip 1, but it sounds very repetitive. Many people want to stop global warming, so many people take public transportation. Therefore, tip number 2 is to remove the second subject. The resulting sentence combines the 2 ideas well. Many people want to stop global warming, so take public transportation. Guys, notice one detail that can really impress a TOEFL examiner. Do you see that in this sentence there is no comma after warming? You do not use a comma if there is no subject in the second part. Has this video helped you so far? If so, you can help me too. Click on like to let other people know they should watch this video for tips to boost their TOEFL writing score. Let's move on to the next tip, relative clauses. If the second sentence gives details about one part of the first sentence, definitely try using a relative clause. This is an awesome way to boost your TOEFL writing score. Relative clauses start with words like who, which, when, and where. They need to be put as close as possible to the word that they describe. Here's an example. My sister recently moved to her own apartment. My sister is 3 years older than me. Combine them in a sentence with the relative clause who, since who is used to describe people. Here's the new sentence. My sister who is 3 years older than me, recently moved to her own apartment. Don't forget to put commas on both sides of the relative clause. It's easy to forget when you are worried about the time limit. The commas are important though. Commas show where all the ideas in the sentence start and stop. Another type of relative clause starts with dot. The difference between relative clauses with dot is that they are necessary to understand the sentence. If the information is not there, the sentence has a different meaning. Let's look at these two sentences. During my part-time job, books needed to be discounted. The books that needed a discount were damaged books. As you can see, the first sentence isn't clear without the information in the second sentence. The reader must know what type of books were discounted. In cases like this, use that. The new sentence is, during my part-time job, books that were damaged needed to be discounted. Since the information is important to understand the main clause, there are no commas. Guys, try using relative clauses with that and ones that start with other words. If you use them correctly, your score will really increase. Another example is, I feel this way for 2 reasons that I will examine in this essay. That refers to the noun in front of it. Here, that's 2 reasons. Use this sentence in the introduction of your independent essay. This sentence is the transition that leads from your introduction to the body paragraph. You can find this sentence in my TOEFL writing template for the independent task. If you memorize this template, you will have complex sentence patterns like this relative clause in your head when you take the TOEFL, and you don't have to spend time figuring out what you want to write. If you need templates, click on the link in the description. You can access my templates for all TOEFL writing tasks, integrated writing and independent writing there. Now let's move on to a different type of sentence, the if clause. If clauses are great because they show that something is possible but may not occur. There are 2 parts. One is something that could happen. In the event that the thing happens, then the second part of the sentence will come true. Check out these sentences to see what I mean. I might go to France during my summer vacation. In the event that I go to France, I will visit the Louvre. That's a lot of words with a lot of repetition. See how great it sounds if you use an if clause instead. If I go to France during my summer vacation, I will visit the Louvre. Basic sentences use the present tense in the if part, which is why I wrote I go. The second part, the result, is in the future tense, I will. There's also a comma between the parts when the if clause comes first. You can switch the ideas too. I will visit the Louvre if I go to France during my summer vacation. But there is no comma when the if part comes at the end. Remember that to really show off your high-level grammatical structures. A final tip is to create lists using and or. This tip is a great way to showcase your large vocabulary as well as your ability to use grammar properly. If you have several ideas and can't decide which one is best, try making a list. Let's start with this example. In my spare time, I like to hike. I like to swim too. That English is okay, but the sentences are very simple. Boost your score by using more vocabulary and a complex sentence. In my spare time, I like to hike, swim or read. The trick to making good sentences is that each part of a list needs to be the same part of speech. In this case, hike, swim and read are all infinitive verbs. See how a list works when you join several nouns into the subject of the sentence. Parents, students and teachers should work together on a final class project. The list doesn't have to be the only items that are one word long either. Here is an awesome sentence using a list of phrases that all start with verbs ending in ing. Ideas to protect ocean habitats include organizing beach cleanup events, installing filters on stormwater drains, and recycling plastic products. When writing, I don't forget to put a comma after each of the items in the list. That includes a comma before and or. That's it! Now you have 6 great ideas to make complex sentences that boost your TOEFL writing score. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions or a video wish, comment below and I would love to see you here next time. Bye bye!